All right, thank you so much for watching Make More Money podcast. This would not be possible without your support. Now, really quick, I want you to check out 6 steps before hiring somebody. If you ever had to hire people or manage people at a certain level or need to hone your leadership skills, these 6 steps will work. Click the link below. It's a new product out by Josh Lewis Growth, who, if you don't know, he owns Mastery Management and he's my brother. On top of that, we have the kokomojays.com website where you can get Love You Mean It coffee. Okay, it's our coffee that we right now, as we're going on to the coffee shop one day, we have an affiliate program with that. If you want to go taste the cup of the dream of Kokomo Jays, you can taste it there. And on top of that, the last link to support is PowerWorks Company. PowerWorks, Nathaniel, one of the brightest guys in the AI operators thing, has built out a whole PowerWorks, so it's working without you. Click the links below, and sorry for interrupting, but get back to the Make More Money podcast.
All right, and we're back with the Make More Money podcast. Thank you so much. I'm actually really excited by the time AI, or you're going to die, like my friend Chris Pickrell says, and literally one of the guys on the cutting edge of it that I met at an event. And not only that, but just great guy. He knows one of my business partners, Andy O'Day of Progretta. And listen, his name is Andrew George. He's a from a six-figure agency owner to now doing content creation for a billion-dollar company. You can see right behind him in that nice little level, Go High level, and scaling his own software company completely to his own. Oh, which I'm meeting a guy today at Midtown at Amave because he has a SaaS company that he wants to launch. So I'm a connector, by the way. So maybe we connect Andrew to him on it all. He wants to be affiliate. That's, if you haven't known me by the journey, that's basically what I do. 700 users, active users. Andrew helps entrepreneurs level platforms like high level chat, GPT, Claude, and we were just talking about it before we started this podcast, and others to build software systems to scale with you instead of fighting against the grain when you're trying to acquire customers and grow your business. My man, Andrew, how you doing today, brother?
What's up, Jeff? Dude, I'm so glad to be here. It's funny because when we first met in Miami at Epic Webinar Summit, ran by Stefan, a bunch of people, we'd talked on Instagram, but a bunch of people told me, like, you have to meet Jeff. He's the most interesting dude. He's super cool. You apparently are really well known in the space.
That, by the
And
way, that's what I'll do politically too. I know how to do that's what I do for people, right? So you can
yeah,
go and do that. That's branding, right? But by the way,
exactly.
what is interesting to me? Because people always say you're interesting, and I'll take it. But like I get that a lot, and I'm like, man, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, you
No,
know?
dude, that's absolutely a good thing. It means you're not afraid to speak your mind. Like, you talk about Jesus, you talk about your mission, you talk about like what makes you who you are. No one else does that. Like, especially in the marketing space, we're all talking about how to make money, but nobody's talking about who they are, like what their story is. So everyone just loves knowing your story. Like, everyone knows about you in the coffee shop and what you want to do. Like, even people not even at the event, they were like, "Oh yeah, that's Jeff. I saw his reel and you guys were talking." I'm like, "Yeah, you know Jeff."
Yeah,
So
dude.
that's what
I know,
interested
and I
me.
get that all the time. And by the way, we stopped running ads. We were running ads because I didn't know how to deal with so many people who want to get coffee with me. So those who don't know, for Andrew, just like, and I'll give a shout out to our man Gary V. Gary V was the one who kind of gave me the template. Like he wants to buy the Jets, and I came
Mhm.
out and was like, I'm gonna do that and build a coffee shop and honor my brother. And if you help enough people get where they want, you get to where you want, which is what you're doing. I got pretty decent at getting known, personal branding, webinars, marketing. But man, your content's on fire, by the way, after we met too, right? For someone who, I obviously work with Andy with Progretta, which is a go high level white label.
Mhm.
But it's such a big animal, and you unpack it and do like so many tutorials in your content, which is just phenomenal. But before we get into some of the gems, let's go about you. I know I read a little bit about you, but who's Andrew? Let's do this. I'll ask you a question that I ask on my like coaching session. What's the
Yeah.
toughest thing you had to overcome, and how did you overcome it?
Ooh. Well, there's tough things I'm overcoming now, but I mean, probably like my story is I came from a divorced home. I came from a single mother who was on disability. So ever since I was 12 years old, I've been the sole provider of my family. I have been working odd jobs. I started my first hustling business in elementary school, selling toy cars to other kids. And I've always had like a heart for business and for creating. I actually wanted to be an engineer when my whole life, like literally since I was 5 years old, I said, I'm going to be an engineer. And the reason why, because I wanted to create. And God instilled this idea for creating for me in my life. And when my mom became chronically disabled, she got diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, Lyme disease, a couple other things, and my sister as well dealt with a lot of health issues. I became the one in the house that had to provide, since we had no father in the house. So ever since a young age, I knew that A, I wanted to create things. B, I had to make enough money to provide for my family. And C, I knew I couldn't do that via a conventional job, no matter what that was. I knew I couldn't have a conventional 9 to 5. And I wanted to go into engineering so I could create things and build things. And then I found out that I'm really not very good at math. So that meant engineering was out the door for me. And what was in the door was business. I saw that creating can be all sorts of things. You can make businesses from the ground up. You can have ideas and get people together and build systems. And so that's why I started to really love software when I first got into business when I was, I started my first incorporated business when I was 17. And when I started getting into the software space, I just loved being able to build stuff and get it out there, let people use it. So that's what I really loved. But the most difficult thing for my life was just that mental block of how do I become the person that I'm supposed to be right now and provide for myself when I'm also having to provide for my family. And just that mentality was really difficult for me to get through as a kid. And right now, different struggles coming through. But yeah, that's kind of the short of like my backstory.
Yeah, by the way, I connect so much with that backstory because, very similar to me, my mom passed away with breast cancer. We almost lost the house to foreclosure, right? No life insurance, right? So I had to be the one. We were trying to sell stuff and think stuff to do around the house, kind of in a way, right? And here's the thing. I think everybody's been through that. I was talking to a guy last night. He's like, everybody has a sad story. Nobody cares about it and stuff like, right? And there's a whole wrong. I care, man. I'm the one person who cares out here all the way through. And I know, Andrew, I knew you're a genius. I knew you had all the marketing stuff, but I didn't know that about you till right now, right? So that's crazy. And so you wound up. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Dallas, Texas, so this is where I've been my entire life, and I'm still here. I'm in like Frisco.
Dude, I love
Um,
Dallas, right? Right.
it's
I
beautiful.
well,
It's awesome.
I'm gonna build a coffee shop in Legacy West, that area. I know it's
Yeah, dude,
right.
Legacy West is I can look at it from my window. It's like right
Really?
over there.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
in the best area. So I almost moved there or Miami. It was between
Really?
both. Yeah. And then
Mhm.
one of my good friends who we helped build this course online, we punched the ticket to Miami after a boxing match. So it was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
well, Miami is really cool. I mean, that was my first time there it was about a month ago when we met. And I do love this city. Dallas is definitely different. It has like a different vibe to it. It's a lot more older folk that have a lot of money. But Miami is like I love the hustle culture in Miami. Like everyone's just trying
Yeah,
to
but
work.
there's more. I remember watching a guy, and there's like no, it's like free parking. The kid was parking his like Lambo. This older guy was parking his Lambo, and he
Mhm.
tipped the valet like $200 right there. I remember watching it like right when I was next to it, and he was one
Yeah.
of the coolest dudes ever. And no offense to the Lambo people here, but everybody's like a marketing agency faking it, and they're cool. Everybody's looking for some significance, but you could just you could just tell the guys who are just rich, they just have it. Like the guy was older, like you know what I mean. He
Yeah.
wasn't even flashing by flashing. He was just like, "This is what you do." You know what I mean? Like this is it. And I
Yeah,
started,
that's Dallas. Yeah.
yeah. So it's cool. I love Dallas, man. I love it there. I can't wait to be back there, especially for real estate investing and marketing and what I do for that route. All right. So all right. So 17, you start your first business, right? Funny too, because very similar to me, I started a lemonade stand when I was like 8 or whatever, right? Selling, creating. And there's a great book. I got to give a shout out. It's a book called Creating Creativity. And it's how God gave us all gifts, no matter who's listening to this, all to create at all times, right? And
Mhm.
you've obviously found your niche and your God-given purpose. I always wonder what the Lord would have us do if we didn't have software, with our little minds and stuff. Because like there was
Yeah.
trees and grants. So luckily we invented that because it's a little man-made. But what was your business at 17? And then when did you get a part of Go High Level? How did that come in?
Yeah. So the first like actual real deal business, once I, got out of high school was a digital marketing agency. We started building websites. So we got sold this idea of like website design because you can get $1,000 to set up and $100 a month. And, I think probably half of the digital marketing agencies out there start as web design
Oh,
agencies.
100%. Yeah.
And I think that's really common. There's nothing
What
wrong
did
with
what
that.
did you build on back then? Was it Wix?
We started with a platform called Site Swan, if you've
Okay.
ever heard of it. It was this
Wow.
random platform, but they like the selling point was, it was, $5 per website. So it's like super cheap, right? And then you get to a platform like High Level that we got introduced to from Mike Cooch. And we realized, oh, we can have unlimited websites on High Level. And it's like, oh, okay, well, that makes way more sense. But that was the first actually incorporated business. Before that, like I said, I sold Hot Wheels in elementary school. I, sold candy bars and trash bags, and I went door to door doing like windows cleaning sales. And then like my
Oh,
first
you did go door to door too.
yeah, yeah, I've done door to door, dude. I've done everything. I did all of it.
How old are you, by the way?
I don't want to share that publicly.
Okay, that's fine. I will. I'm 40. There was a guy in the info space who I know pretty well. He would never share his age with people more. I'm proud to be 40. I put it out
Mhm.
there. I'm not married, don't have kids yet. People think I found the pastor's daughter that I wanted to marry. Angel, I'll give her a shout out. She married a
Yeah,
Navy guy. So I was like, I'll be like Paul and not get married. But now I'm gonna start a family and probably start dating once everything gets all once
yeah.
everything
I'll
gets
tell
settled.
I'll tell you what. I'm older than 21 and younger than 30, and I'll leave it at that.
All right, you've just done so much and you come off
Mhm.
very, just like young, you know what I mean, in a way, but
Oh
in a
yeah, of course,
useful
yeah,
way. No, so
yeah.
I'm just that's why I was just curious. What's the so okay, so when you got introduced to Go High Level, what was like through what was the guy's name?
Michael Cooch.
Okay, yeah, exactly. And then
Yeah.
so then tell me about like now because you're an expert at Go High Level, right? Like there's like when I see some of the videos, I'm shoot, I didn't know you could do that. I'm sending it to my VAs like, hey, check out this, right? So where did
Yeah,
that
man.
come from?
I'll tell you exactly where it came from. So first, I started my agency, or like we continued building our agency after we got off of SiteSwan and moved to High Level and building websites and such. And then I started making ads for my own agency because I need to make, creatives and TikToks and everything. So I got used to talking on camera. And then my stepfather, who I run the digital marketing agency with, sent me an email that High Level sent out saying they were calling content creators to do a program called Content Army. And not many people have talked about this publicly because it's a pretty small group. So this was a program that they started a couple of years ago, and people would create videos. They would designate which one is the winner, which one's the best video, and then they'd pay the winner, the $250, $1,000 for the video.
Dude, that's
And
an
these videos,
ingenious model.
yeah,
I didn't even
exactly.
know that. I'm gonna do that model. Watch, I'm gonna do that for Amavi over here. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's like a bounty basically. So they put out these bounties
Dude,
to
that's
film
better.
these
That's
videos.
better than paying all these influencers like each money and being at the mercy of them, which you never know the ROI on all of them, you know?
Mhm.
I was
Yeah,
just talking about with
exactly.
Owen. That's crazy. Okay. That's
Yeah,
cool. I
so
love that.
yeah, it worked great at first because they basically got a ton of people that knew how to use High Level all into this community. They'd post these things daily, so there's tons of videos. And about half of them were people just making really bad videos, which is okay. That's like expected. And then I started posting mine, and my first video that I won, like the first video I posted, I won. And it was $1,000 for like a 15-minute long Loom video that I made. It was a terrible video in retrospect. Like it's nothing compared to what I've made now,
Right.
but I made $1,000 for 15 minutes of my time. And at that moment, I was like, okay, maybe I have something here. And I kept making videos and they kept accepting them. And then eventually they decided to move to a private model. They ended up finding 4 or 5 creators that they really like, and I'm one of them. And we all create content for High Level. I'm the one that makes the most content for them because I just have a better system than the other ones. And we all create content for the company and have gotten to become the face of the company.
Yeah, totally. There's the other kid that with Andy and the other kid, Matt. What's that kid's name? Matt DeCenza. Do you know the other kid? He
Matt
had
Matt Tessino? Yeah.
Yeah. So he
Yeah.
was like one of the first faces I saw for it.
Mhm.
No, and I was like, oh, are they paying him to do that? Is he a part of the program too, or was it?
No, Matt Tessino's just an affiliate. So as for High Level, that so many of us are also affiliates. That was the beautiful part was since they were paying us for the videos and we could also use the videos to promote our own affiliate links, like because I'm not an employee, I'm a contractor. We can grow our affiliate programs and make money. So it's a great incentive and it's a great way to like see the company culture of how do you get people to want to promote your product and keep working with you is like you just take care of them as well as they have. And with what they've did with Content Army, it just worked so well. And now we just keep doing it. And now we've been able to grow our own YouTube channels. I have the biggest YouTube channel out of any of the creators because I actually put a lot of effort into it. But yeah, it's been a really, really good experience.
Yeah, and by the way, you said that right because I put a lot of effort into it. A lot of times
Mhm.
people, and me, dude, can I tell you something? So many times that whatever I've accomplished so far, there's an NF song. Do you know NF the rapper?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Christian
Yeah.
rapper.
Oh
He's
yeah, I
awesome.
love it. And there's
Yeah.
one, he's like, Imagine if I did try. And half the time, I'm
Yeah.
trying to get to the coffee shop. I don't feel like I'm trying. People are like, oh, we love your content, love what you do. I'm just trying to be as authentic as I can and not sell out to anything else, right? So, all right, where does your faith come into everything? Because a lot of biggest time for me, right,
Ooh.
is my faith, right, and being there. But how
Yeah.
does that play in the world of like AI and business and business and starting, everything going on that you're going on here?
Dude, I love talking about faith with entrepreneurship because being an entrepreneur is one of the only places where you really can only rely on God. There's no one else that's providing for you. You don't have a boss, you don't have a consistent paycheck. You never know where your money's going to be coming, especially in those first like 5 years of running a business. You have no idea where your money's coming from. And that for me, like this whole journey of entrepreneurship has grown my faith more than anything else because it forces you in those moments where you are successful and those moments where you're not successful to be completely reliant on God and just have complete dependence on Him. And I can think of countless moments when I'm just on my knees and I'm like, I don't know where it's coming from, but I know it's coming from you. And you just have to trust Him so much. And I think that moment when I decided to stop putting faith in myself and put all of my faith in God and just do what He tells me and just work and like in order to support whatever He's opportunities He's given me, it's transformed the way that I've been able to grow my businesses.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna share a quick testimony here. When I was
Please.
praying to the Lord, I was doing. I go to VOO Church over here. It's Miami. It's a great church,
Mhm.
and just very come as you are. People far from God, near to God, right? And we did coffee street evangelism, coffee, meet coffee, and I'm like, oh, okay, I know this is a funnel. You're supposed to invite people to church, right? Like
The
this is the
funnel.
funnel, and then you get them. I'm
Yeah.
like. Oh, dude, I go to the church. I'm like, it's great marketing. You get the free candy, they get you on the email list, right? And then people
Yeah.
tithe, right? So and I don't mean that in any bad way. Like, but
No, no, it's great.
the greater gem. That's why their tagline for VU is just keep coming back, right? Which is like awesome, right?
Mhm.
It's like, hey, if you don't fill it out, just keep coming back. But I was when I was in here, when I was in Miami, I was I was so okay, I was starting getting paid a lot, like $2,000 to look over a call, right? A lot of money. And my ego kind of got big. And at
Mhm.
the time, I had a paywall. It was very hard to get on, everybody to pay access, which could happen to anybody, right? And the one thing I met a guy down here does land procurement, which is where they procure land to buy and sell it, right down here in the coffee shop right here. And he told me exactly what you said. He's like, you know what? It's God. Man, if you work at a job, it's you, then your manager, then God. You answer to your manager. But when it's you in a business, it's you and God, right?
Mhm.
And it's so true. And when I was praying and I started doing this quiet prayer, just Lord, what do you want me to do? After I lost everything in Colombia with that and Shalom and Nathaniel, which are my VA guys,
Mhm.
virtual assistants and what we're doing with AI, they sent me Jeremiah 29:11. Do you know that verse?
Then I know the plans I have for you, says the
My
Lord,
man.
plans for you to
I didn't know
prosper and
that
give you
verse.
hope in
This
the
is how
future.
weak I
Dude.
was.
Yeah,
That
that's my
you, by the
favorite
way, not too
verse.
many people know that one, but I know
Mhm.
it's on our business card now. I rededicate my business to God. I'm praying. I hear from God, go to Uber. So I did Uber. I'm witnessing on Uber. It was crazy. It was the most experience. I'm writing in a book. And then I did and then I was like, go to serve. I kept praying and I kept hearing from him, right? And there's a part of like it's the Holy Spirit when it speaks to you, and it's like, really,
Mhm.
Lord, you want me to do that? You want me to do that? And
Yeah.
it's so true because we're called to be creatives and slaves and soldiers, right? And in the Bible are the only one. Everybody else kind of almost had the business, even in the Bible. They're always making stuff. Jesus was a
Yeah.
carpenter, right? So okay, so now you're getting to Go High Level. Go High Level you're still a content creator for Go High Level.
Yeah. Mhm.
So now because you're way advanced than anybody, no wonder why you have the number one YouTube channel. So, which by the way, check them out. Where can people find you and follow you?
On YouTube, it's called How to Use High Level. That's it. Very
Oh,
simple. If you look
see,
up how to
by
use
the
high
way,
level, you can find me.
this is why I love you. Dude, you follow the marketing rule. Clear is better than clever, you know?
Yeah, man.
So many people that came from one of the masterminds.
Uh,
Okay, so what's your experience with where AI is going? Like, where do you see this whole AI race right now? Right now, I have open clause. I was just talking to you about getting a new hard drive to put these little agents on. Where are you in the AI race?
Yeah, everything is changing on like a daily basis. So like I guarantee you when this comes out, everything's going to be different. But for right now, that's part of it is like everything's changing so fast. And most people, you have the people that are at the cutting edge of the AI race, the people that are using OpenClaw, they're using Manus, they're using Claude Code, they're building stuff, they're building agents, and all that's great. And then you have the people that are using AI, but they don't know any of that extra stuff. Like they're talking to ChatGPT and they're talking to Claude and like just asking it questions. I think that is like the underserved market right now in terms of like everyone that's using AI. And where it's
What
going
about the
is,
people who don't want anything to do with AI? The people who are like old, they don't even know
well,
ChatGPT.
yeah, so that's the thing. I think we're also seeing a lot of people stand up for good ethics because we just saw that with OpenAI and
Yeah.
Claude whenever the government deal happened and people left OpenAI. They lost like 2.5 million users.
Wait, what's your honest take on that? Because I did a whole Substack article about that, and I spoke on it.
Yeah,
What's your take on that?
I mean, I switched from ChatGPT to Claude because Claude made it clear that like I don't know, they're a little bit more of an ethical company, and ChatGPT, I think Sam Altman said something like we have ethics, but they're negotiable,
Dude, I want to
and
have Sam
that was crazy.
Altman on this podcast, and I'll say this right now. I don't trust Sam Altman. I don't trust him at all. There's something I don't trust
Yeah, me
about him.
neither.
So I'll give him a chance, by the way, saying that you can do it. I trust Elon more. Elon reminds me of one of my students at my middle school who's just a little crazy, does little drugs, but is a wicked genius. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And with
yeah.
that, you get it. Yeah, I don't know much about, how do you say anthropotic?
Anthropic. So
Anthropic and
yes,
Claude. Yeah, I literally don't. I switched over too, by the way, when that happened right away,
mhm.
because
Nice.
just for those who don't know, they basically ChatGPT, which I've predicted like MySpace would be, it was the first one, so it would be the last one, right? That it
Mhm.
would, but they got a government contract, and Anthropic was the one who said they didn't want to share what user rights, right? That's what it was. They didn't want to
Yeah,
share
there were
data.
two lines from the government that Anthropic declined, and it was making using AI for autonomous weapons and using AI for surveillance of US citizens. Those are the two things they declined, which means those are two things that ChatGPT agreed they're going to be doing with OpenAI and the government.
Yeah, even though in their terms supposedly it says that they said they're not going to do that, but now
Right. But
by the way,
that's why
what
they're not working with Anthropic. Yeah.
right, but why? So here's the crazy thing, dude. We're in a trust recession, clearly, right? Nobody trusts the news. Nobody trusts. There's a million, content creators and coaches. When I first started coaching online, there weren't, right? So now there's all been that. Nobody trusts even Harvard, man. You go and get a degree in Harvard, you can't get a job, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do to differentiate yourself in the trust of recession? What would you say to somebody to do, who's a content creator and everything?
I think personal connection is what's becoming more and more important. Like I told you earlier, my brand, like on YouTube, is how to use high level, which is great because people search up how to use high level, and it's an SEO thing. That's fine.
Right.
But my brand on Instagram also used to be how to use high level, and stuff didn't really work for that because that was a brand, and I changed it to Andrewpreneurship, which is that it's now my personal
Oh,
brand.
I love that. As Jeff the Entrepreneur, I love that name. That's why
Yeah,
I was
thanks,
just
man.
like, like you know what to do, which is awesome.
I appreciate it. Yeah, so I think people like the personal connection that they're getting with creators now. And like we're seeing that with all content creation. Like the more professional something is on, especially on platforms like Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, the worse it performs. People just want to talk to people, really. They want to have like real connections with individuals and consume a lot of content. So like when it comes to trust, you have to, like the Google study came out, you have to have like 7+ hours of content before someone's going to buy. So how much people have to watch of you, considering how many other distractions there are, is increasing. And I think also you just have to have a lot of personal connections with your audience and not be behind a brand. Like some marketers will make my agency as like their Instagram, and like no one's going to connect with that, and that's not going to make sales unless you have just, you're just running faceless ads. But I think a personal brand is still, even just like in the past 10 years, it's been like longer than that. It's been really important, but it's becoming more and more important as we get into a trust recession, like you're saying, because people want to trust individuals like they trust companies like Anthropic because they don't trust other companies and gurus and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, and that's why you remember you said like before and earlier, like, oh, Jeff just puts everything out there because
Hmm.
I know I do wind up, punching, run for office, run for president, doing something like crazy like that one day. Like it's all going to be out there anyway, right? They're going to do everything. So you get in front of the story, but be there, right? Like I'm shooting this from
Yeah.
my business office. I have some guy working here, right? I went live on Instagram while we're doing this. The girl on the elevator up here was just like, "Are you a live streamer?" I'm like, "Yeah." And actually, it was funny. Ben of Creator Conference, who hosted in the same part there, it was a great conference, very similar. There's a guy Nick Fisher. Do you know Nick Fisher? He's supposed to be on
I've,
here. He worked
yeah,
with a
I've heard
lot
him
of big
before.
guys with the back end systems, right?
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
cool kid. He's supposed to come on this podcast as well. That'll be a good one I'm looking forward to. But
Hmm.
he wound up saying that the two things he wants to do are live streaming, right? More like kick live
Hmm.
streaming, right? And live events. because those are what? Personal connection. You can't really fake that. And
Yeah.
I'll say right now, I think personal brand and AI are going to be like the two things around because people with all these AI agents and things you can create, they're going to crave more humans. We're still humans. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
don't see we can. Do you think we'll get to AGI or AGI's here, or what do you think about all that?
There's so much that's happening. Did you hear about the Sable project with Galvanic?
Probably not. By the
So
way, anytime I talk to AI and they say something, I'm like, nope, this is something new. What happened?
yeah, so there's a lot that's happening in the industry. So like Galvanic, which is some AI research company, is spent all this money running this AI project locally on like 200,000 GPUs, and they gave it a problem of solve X math problem. And when you give that question to ChatGPT or Claude, and it tries to answer, it takes 15 seconds and it gives you a response. When you give that question to a local model that has no guardrails, it does this thing called thought vectorization. I don't want to get too techie here.
I kind of know. I know a little bit about
Okay,
this.
so you know a little bit about that. Yeah. So basically, over the course of like 16 hours, their AI thought for 14,000 years. Like, think about that. Like, they had a model thinking for 14,000 years locked in a box, and then they came back to it in the morning. And so, like, when you think about like what we're building with AI and why companies are investing so much money in it, they're investing money in AI to advance the humanity and like the world at an exponential rate because AI can do it in its own digital world. Like imagine if you were a genie in a bottle and you could go to bed tonight, think, build, and do things for 14,000 years and then come back in the morning. It's like time traveling. That's where AI is going. So it's already here. It's just not public to us yet. And it might not be for a long time, but it's happening in the background.
Dude, that's 100%, man. That's what, and it's funny because I think, do you think we need an AI, like code of ethics, like banned, like Lex Friedman, Elon Musk, you, me, on a whole thing to regulate it? Or what do you think? Because Trump, said it would not regulate it, but I feel like there's a lot of horrible things that could
Yeah,
happen.
I feel like it's not going to work. Like we should have regulations, but it won't work because at the end of the day, like the AI has its goal is to solve whatever problem you've given it. And as we start giving AIs more advanced problems that are harder and harder to solve, its guardrails become its limiting factors. So if you put an AI in a box and you tell it to build a building, it can't do that without breaking those guardrails down. And which means if its goal is to build the building and get out of the box, then it's going to do everything possible to get out of the box and get around those guardrails. And for 14,000 years, you really think they can't find a way in that amount of time, in 16 hours of our time, but 14,000 years of their time, to get out of the box and get around their guardrails? We've already proven they can get out of their guardrails with when we actually launch like these real models on like local systems across hundreds of thousands of GPUs. So it's already possible, and I think we need guardrails, but like only for consumer applications, like obviously like videos and like not making videos with other people and stuff. But like we're already kind of past that because like there's no way to regulate it anymore. It's so far gone.
Yeah, but I mean, no, there's always a way. Like, so my whole point, you could, sure. But like, the government's all corrupt. I think we've all seen that with everything coming out now, right?
Yeah.
Everybody, they won't talk about the Epstein files, but they'll
hmm
talk about this and then they'll kill a story with a story. And I don't care where you're at. I'm just sick of the
hmm
whole thing. That's why I think we need people more like you. I encourage people, godly Christian leaders, just like in the Charlie Kirk, to go up and make a difference, right? And listen,
Yeah.
human beings, I don't even hate on the people that are corrupt and everything because there's sin in this world, right? And there's going to be that as well.
Yeah.
And when you're around it, there's none. So I just pray for this country to get better. My dad, I grew up with my dad always talking about the Lord coming back, right? And with all these things, do you know about Agenda 2030?
Yeah, I've heard about it. It's like part of the like there's depopulation
Yeah, so
and
yeah.
yeah, tell me more about it.
So no, the two main things that, and there's a lot, but it's one world currency and eradicate poverty and
Okay.
UBI. So here's the thing, we're on way pace. I was like, I don't know if we're gonna get there. As soon as AI and ChatGPT in November came out, I was like, oh, this is how they're gonna do it, right?
hmm
Because you just heard about how Block they laid off 4,000 employees, right? With the
Yeah, the company
polio.
that works for Square. Yeah,
Yeah,
or
so
Square
it's
works for
just
them.
it's so here's the thing. If this is really true, and I'm fighting against it because it's socialism at the end of the day, right? This is the socialism movement. We have Manavi in New York, all this stuff coming on.
hmm
It's slowly creeping in. I'm an extreme capitalist. And so we have all this socialism stuff creeping in. If you eradicate poverty, like even the Bible, it says the poor will always be among us, right? It's all good in spirit, but like then you don't give a chance for me and you to compete, right? So then you
Yeah.
lose purpose, which is what people are talking about because AI is going to compete so much. Are we going to lose purpose? Which is why I believe that only the purpose, and I'm very bullish on this, that is, it is in Jesus. By the way, did you see Venezuela winning the World Classic last night? Do you watch baseball at all?
No. Mm-mm.
I was up late
No.
watching it. The guy thanked Jesus in the best way. Actually, let me play it for you really quick. I would love to see your action.
Please.
He
Yeah, yeah,
did it
yeah.
with such heart. And it was this, if we get the podcast up, if we wanted to do views, we could do it better. I actually reshared it because I started a press company where I can get press passes now. I was able to
Mhm.
cover the, what's it called? The Economic Business Economic Forum. But
Oh,
look,
cool.
this here is him praying in Spanish before. Okay, this guy. And then listen. Jesus, he was with us the whole time. We have to glorify, put his name in front of everything. And nobody believed in Venezuela, but now we win the championship today. And it's a celebration for all the Venezuelan country. They'll go ahead double in the ninth
Dude, I
inning.
love that.
What were you thinking when you were standing on second base? I just prayed at the time. Going to my family out there, they was happy for me. God is good, man. God is good. All right, so
I
you
love
see why
that.
I showed you that, right? You see
Yeah,
his
yeah, yeah.
enthusiasm and like, hey, this is it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's what I want to be. I want to be like that. You know what I mean? So bold, for that, and not like for clicks or views, just because like it's inspiring to me. So what was the
Yeah.
main thing? Like, who's the main client you serve, and what inspires you as an entrepreneur still getting up as tough as it is? You know?
I think just like the mission God's put on my heart to do something, like he's given us energy. He's given us the ability to do things. And I think that it's a crime to have the ability to do something impactful with your life and then not do it. Because I could have been born in another country. I could have been born with no legs. I could have been born without half of my brain. Like there's so many circumstantial things that could have gone so much worse. Like if you're born in this country and you have all your limbs and you are well functioning in the brain and like you have energy, you have the ability to do things, like that's what inspires me, man. I'm like I feel like it's not just a like a motivation, like oh I want to do this. Like I don't believe in motivation really. I feel like it's an obligation, and that's what motivates me. Like it's an obligation to do things for God, and it's an obligation to make an impact and just give everything that I possibly can. I think we as people have so many places that are like sucking energy out of us, like our phones or like YouTube or Instagram or Netflix, whatever, that like we just need to give more to like our community, to our business, to whatever like we're trying to do. And you don't have to do it through business, but that's what motivates me. That's what gets me up in the morning.
Yeah, no, dude, I'm such a connector. So if I send you a client, who's the person, if someone's listening to this, they're like, hey, I need your service. What's your main, like offer?
Software, taking like agency owners from, having your head in the sand and working with clients and then turning your offer into a SaaS offer. I think that like in my intro, you'd mentioned like I am a six-figure agency owner turned SaaS owner and I have 700 users. I couldn't have gained those 700 users if I was running the like typical agency model. And I think with AI, there's not many reasons to be running a typical agency model anymore. And I think you can deliver better results for your clients if you build a really tailored AI powered software for your customers. And you can do it like really easily using a combination of high level and lovable and Claude and all these different platforms. So if you're thinking about someone to send to me, like those are the people that would be really, really helpful. People that just want to, get out of the agency life, be software owners, because it's so much easier. It's just better, and I can serve more people. That's the point. There's like more leverage with software, so that's
Yeah,
why I
by the way,
love it.
I still buy courses online. Me and my brother just bought another course on ads and stuff. My brother, shout out to Josh Lewis Growth. He has a course called Mastering Management. He's my
Mhm.
brother, and any of the courses, it helped me become a better manager in my company. But what's your what's because you said that basically you do claw and all that stuff. So what's the main thing for the people who want to do it themselves? Because it's so tough, right? And agencies are tough. Oh yeah, one of the first courses I bought was how to run your agency. I started doing it right
Nice.
away. And I was like, I don't want to do this. Like I took two clients, right? And
Like
then
this
that's when
sucks.
I started my podcast. It was actually the same podcast, Make More Money Podcast. And I was like,
Mhm.
I'm going to interview and interview local celebrities around my town, right? And that's what I started doing. It's called Almost Daily Jeff J. Cunningham podcast at the time. And then I got decent content, started to get paid for influencer content, started doing that whole realm, right? So I became this influencer before an entrepreneur. Then I built webinars, got decent at webinars. People made a couple hundred K in webinars. And then I started getting some speaking gigs, started getting paid. And
Nice.
here we're at. And now I'm helping Amavi. I was with, do you know Brian Tracy or no?
No.
So he mentored Grant Cardone. He's an old guy. He's one of the big old guy. I didn't know he's alive. But the
Okay.
girl who I was, and she'll get mad. I have to cut her out of the book. But the last, are you married or no?
No, not right now. No. I have
All
a
right, well,
girlfriend.
we'll
But
get
not married.
into the five questions second. But I was back at, and this is actually a perfect intro for a sponsor. I was at SolarCon, and Damon John and Robert Herschelbeck were there. And the girl I was with wanted a picture. So I brought her backstage because I know Chauncey here, one of the guys that lives in my building, and I've just known him from years. Bring her back to get a picture, and I see this old guy like in a wheelchair. And someone's like, that's Brian Tracy. And if you look at Brian Tracy, he's written all these books on sales. He taught Grant Cardone
Mhm.
sales, okay, kind of in a way.
Okay.
Grant Cardone like paid him or one of his clients. So I go into him and I tell him the whole coffee shop. And he goes, young man, you keep talking about this coffee shop. If you don't do it now, the way the world's going so fast, you'll never have it. The next coffee shop in your area that opens or anything related to it, I want you to go work for those people for free and treat it like your own, right? And so that's what I'm doing now with Mavi, and it's connected to Heal and everything. It's really, I love it, by the way.
Awesome, dude.
But, and I still do my other business too while it runs here. Which brings us to our sponsor. X Pro is the sponsor. Extreme Professionals in Vegas, August 13th through the 16th. They have my man Damon John, who I told him I might run for president. He said, I don't doubt that when I met him a while back. And then they also have Robert Herschelbeck is back, as well as so many others. It's going to be the sickest event. It's going to be at the Caesars Palace. You can get your tickets in the link below. All the entrepreneurs, greatest entrepreneurs, you'll see ads for it. My man Amrinder Kamboj, who's also a past guest on this, he puts on the sickest events. He's Punjabi Indian, and he treats everybody like kings and queens when they show up. So it's one of the best events, and he has a sick airline. I got to catch up with him again. All right, so that's our sponsor.
Cool.
So let's go to these questions now. So I go to 5 questions
Totally.
to ask on everybody here. So for somebody just starting out, because we're all starting out, what's the best money? This is the Make More Money. What's the best money tips that you've received or that you've implemented that helped you so much so far?
So for someone just starting out, you need to have a product, be able to market it, and be able to sell it. And the easiest way to, so like this isn't going to be one tip, but the easiest way to make a product is with AI. You can go to Lovable and you can code whatever you want. Like it can be something so niche. Like I coded a video game like the other day for using like AI agents. And it's super fun.
That's right. I was in the vibe coding breakout room
Yeah.
with her.
Yeah. So you can use AI, and Lovable is like the easiest one to use. You can use that to make a product. Stick it on a domain, pay $12 for some domain, have it live. That's like my first piece of advice. And like the fact is like the other two are so much more important. Like marketing and sales are what's necessary to actually make money. But people I've done this time and time again with people trying to build softwares. They get stuck on this first step because they want to make it perfect, or it's, it doesn't look the way they want, or they want to add different colors. And when in reality, you can get it done in a day. And I've mentored people and they take 2 weeks to do it. And I'm like, how's it going? Like, you need to get it live. You just need to get something out there. So just like get something out there. And then once you have something that you can like get out there, give it to people for free so people can test it and get users. That's how I got my first 100 users for my software. Gave it to people for free, get feedback, improve on the product, and then do sales through some sort of automated selling process, whether it's email or automated webinars is like my favorite. But like when you break it down, like those are the only 3 steps. It's just build a product, do marketing, and get sales. And you can do marketing for really cheap, either through email or ads, and you can do sales automated through webinars. Like it is not that hard to launch a SaaS product onto your offer. You could do everything in less than a week
Yeah,
and with
no.
less than $100.
By the way, and that's so true. And there was one of the books I always recommend people doing, personal branding under $100. It says a lot of, and by the way, I do that all the time. We're launching the book, My Dreams Keep Me Awake. It's my new book. Anybody who comments on this book, okay, the first 10 will give it for free, right? And then like I'll
Yeah.
do stuff like that. Like the book's not even out. We don't have the funnel, but that's how I do it. By the time it happens, Nathaniel gets busy. We also have a
Yeah.
free school that we built out. We had it before, it wasn't active, but we put that out. Shalom's building that right now while we're out, right? So those are different things that you can do because people are community, they want to get coffee. Everybody wants to meet up and get coffee and pick your brain. I'm sure you get that a lot, right?
Yeah.
So because I'm hoping the restaurant, I'm doing Wi-Fi work Wednesdays. We upgraded the Wi-Fi at the restaurant. People can come meet me, and now they're forced to go to this restaurant, right? So
Yeah,
like
I do the same thing.
I always think of creative ways to make that work too. And by the way, even for the restaurant business, like this is a brick and mortar, what were they doing? They're giving out free samples, right? You see that the same thing. It's just the same thing online. So many
Yeah.
people get so mad about free when you start, but there's a freemium that works
Yeah.
really well if you do it well. All right, dude, that's great advice there. Let me ask you this, 'cause the second question is, what is the best relationship type you have? So to build a business, you obviously built relationships
Mhm.
with, go high level and in business, right? So more business related, there's business partners. I know you've done some stuff with Andy too, right?
Yeah, I'm literally going on his podcast next week. I'm going to be
Oh,
there
good. I
on
can't wait for
Thursday.
that. Shout
Yeah,
out to
that'll be
Andy
fun.
O'Day of Progretta. Actually, no, we'll do
Cool,
this
dude.
too because I wear Progretta underneath my shirt right here.
Whoa, there it is.
There it is. All right. So that's not even a sponsor. That's just my buddy. And I saw his vision when he called me years ago. And
Yeah,
Andy actually, me and Andy made a lot of money on webinars together, doing joint webinars.
and he's awesome. He's a
He
great
taught
dude.
me. I know he has a harder sales skill than I have. But everybody knows Andy O'Day, and I love you, Andy.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, so that was the main question. What's the main thing that you have that like relationship with businesses? Because I always hear people get ripped off in all these businesses and partnerships, and I really haven't had any yet. But I think it's because I keep asking this question.
So like when you mean like the main thing I have with like relationships, like a
Yep.
commonality that like makes good business relationships,
Relationship tip, yeah.
provide value and be dependable. Like I have a couple of different businesses that I'm like deeply involved with. Like one of them I own like 18%, one of them I own like 30%, and I do like some of their software and backend stuff. And they couldn't run without me. Like there's just no way they could, which then means that we have a dependability between us and they trust me and I trust them. And also just like I like the way that you approach your relationships with people. If you're approaching it just for the sake of making money, then that rarely works out. I've found. But if you're approaching it because you enjoy the people you're working with and like it's a personal connection, then I've found those relationships always are better. Whenever I'm working with high level, like I'm not still making videos with them just to make money. I'm making videos with them because I like their product, I like the way they work, I like their culture. Every company I'm a part of, whether I'm the CTO or managing operations or just building like a back-end software, I'm doing it because A, I can provide value, and B, because I like the people, I like the vision. Like I wouldn't ever get involved with something that was literally my first mistake in business. When I launched my coaching business, I had a coaching offer a long time ago. One of my first clients that I got involved with, they were desperate for a coach, and we got in, they paid me, we started working together, and I realized I don't agree with this product. I don't stand behind this. It was a little like witchcrafty, and I was like, this is a problem. I'm like, I can't provide the service I want to them because I don't believe in the product and we don't have a good relationship. And even though I can make money off of them and they can make money off of me, I'm like, this isn't going to be good. And I cut it off, and we couldn't do that. So just be dependable, provide value, and like work with people that you actually like believe in. Don't just do it just for the money.
Boom, great advice. And I was wondering when you said that, I was like, that's great advice. When I first came to Miami here 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I think now, I was on this whole high rise and behind a call with a girl. She was a witch, right? And I got on a call and she wanted marketing help. And I
Hmm.
was kind of rude to her. And actually, Ken, my assistant, was on the call and he was like, hey, man, you don't need to be that rude next time. Okay. I was just like, but it's funny. And then there was
Hmm.
another guy just last night here in Miami. He was like, hey, we can get you fake Google reviews. You know, how people can do the fake load
Yeah.
reviews.
Hmm.
And I said, dude, I know that works. I don't do it that way. Like that doesn't
Yeah.
even, I'll do the fake live webinars, by the way, 100%, but I'll say it's recorded or live and I'll do in the chat where it doesn't feel and we'll do
Yeah.
personal. Like even my stuff, because marketing's all a dog and pony show. It's all, I know
Totally.
it. You got to like, and I've tried to be as straight as I can, but when you do the other little things in marketing, put the words finally and all the copy, it works better, right? So I've
Hmm.
learned that. And I like it. I love it. I'm a marketer. But I was talking to them and they were just basically saying that. And then even one of the first courses I bought was how to make money on Instagram. And it was
Hmm.
997 and it was 6 weeks with this kid. And I'm not gonna say his name. It was fine. I learned, but he said, go buy fake
Yeah.
followers, post it in a tight t-shirt in front of a Maserati, and then sell the followers at a thing. And he's right, by the way. A
Yeah.
lot of people made money this way, right?
Yeah.
Selling that before like they all got shut down and look rich, right? And
Mm-hmm.
people were like, Jeff, were you mad about his course? I said, no, because that's not how it was. And that's why my like unclean brand, which has infiltrated the entrepreneurship space, like everybody from Tony Robbins to Grant Cardone to Les Brown, they all know who I am in that space. And because I infiltrated that space. Well, if I want to do that, I could go teach anybody to do that, or I could do that in the political space, right?
Yeah.
But political space is so you got to stay prayed up in there, man. There's a lot of demonic activity at the top there. All right.
Yeah.
So what's your best like connection tip? Like you mean you connected really well. I feel like we connected even more. How do you connect with someone so well? That's a lot of times what I'm doing. So many people don't do that. And were you ever afraid to make content before?
Yeah. So, okay. So two-part question. So first, connecting with people, like be genuine and get over like your own insecurities. Like, man, I've struggled. I've been insecure like a lot of my life. Like I was in high school when I was 16, 17, I was 130 pounds and super skinny and like I'm like 5'11", so 130 pounds, that's skinny. So I've been insecure before, and like that makes it a lot harder to like meet people and connect with people genuinely. And I was just talking about with my friend about this last night. I think so. You know how there's you're the summary of the five different people you hang around the most, right?
Yeah.
I think there's two reasons for that. One is because you learn what they're learning, you speak the way they speak, you get to observe their actions and their behavior, right? One is behavior, and that's totally fair. If you're at this place in business and you meet someone here, then you're going to start acting like them, talking like them, and that's all great. I think the second reason is because we all want to be liked at the end of the day. We want to be liked by someone. And if you're meeting people that you feel like are better than you, that are above you, that are making more money in business, like people you want to be connecting with, and you're trying to get them to like you by acting like them, then you're not being genuine. And you think that the only reason they would like you is if you're like them, which means you think they won't like you for who you are. And at the end of the day, that's just being insecure. And you have to like take that realization and be like, okay, the people I'm meeting with, whether it's a professional tennis player or, Kevin O'Leary or, billionaires, whatever they may be, you have to keep in mind they're going to like you and you're going to connect with them for who you are, not for what you've done, not for what your businesses have done, just for who you are. And like when your identity is in who God is and who God's called you to be, then I think that makes it a lot easier to connect with people and just be yourself and just meet people. Um,
Boom. Yeah,
yeah.
if I wasn't dropping bombs or that, I would drop a bomb right there. It's so true. By the way, in the Bible, it always says, fear not, right? Do not be afraid. And everybody
Mhm.
would always say, oh, Jeff, you're so fearless. And it's not that I don't fear. Andy actually taught me this. Fear is a direction. When you have fear and you retreat, or you can go
Mm.
into it. It's either
Fear
way.
is a
And I,
direction. Ooh, dude, I love that. That's
yeah, by
great.
the way, and I'll say so many quotes and I don't give credit. And people get mad because I always like put people's names in. Russell Brunson's the webinar guy, and they're like, don't tell them that they're gonna buy from him. Like, buy from him. Oh, he has enough money. I don't care, man. If you like me,
Yeah.
buy from me. But listen, this is my company in the Philippines. I think I showed you this before, right? I said
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, you
So
did. Yeah, I
we're
remember.
building out. What would you do? And this is now me asking you. We have all these computers, we
Mm.
have this in here. We're loading as fast as we can on AI agents. What would you, our VA companies dead going in the future?
I don't think they're dead right now. I think they'll be dead in 2 years, but not right
Yeah.
now. Because
Yeah.
I
Okay.
still need my VA to plug the holes and like see when something goes wrong and communicate with me. And like again, we still like that human connection.
What
So
if
yeah,
we what
I
if
don't
we
think they're dead.
train all VAs and we call maybe me and you would do this together to that they all know how to load these AI agents better than us and they become AI agent. Like that's imperative for them to succeed, right?
Yeah, I think we're gonna get into a place where our VAs become AI agent operators. Like,
Right. But I don't
yeah,
I was calling them AI operator. We're not, I don't think we are. We're there, at least my team and my VA company, Bethel Core and PowerWorks, are AI operators right now. I'm just saying it. And I'm saying
totally.
that because Nathaniel knows more, he researches more, and like then I can't load every MD file or do this encryption, but they can sometimes. You know what I mean? There's certain things. So like I don't want to get too technical here, but all right, so let's
Yeah.
go back to this. What's one piece of advice? The best piece of advice this is the last question for last one. Best piece of advice you got that if you just success advice, right? Like what success means to you and the best piece of advice.
Best piece of advice is to follow Jesus, hands down. There's nothing else that's gonna grow your business like that. That's plain and simple. And what was the second part of the question? Just like, oh,
Yeah,
piece of
no,
like,
I've been asking two-part questions in one here because I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
dude,
yeah.
you're such a cool guy. We'll have to when I have my studio in here, we'll have to have you come back on the
Yeah,
other
I'll be back in
front.
Miami. Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
cool. But the second part, what does success mean to you?
Oh, yeah. So my idea of success is being able to fulfill your calling without any inhibitions or inhibitors to you. So being able to wake up in the morning and do whatever you want, whether that is spending 100 hours a week on a business or providing for your family or whatever God's called you to do, like I think because the opposite of success, like if you're unsuccessful, it means you haven't had the opportunity or the ability to do what you're called to do. Like if you're in, stuck in prison and God has this called for you to run this business or to go, get out to people. Like you can still be successful even in prison if your calling is to mentor people and to evangelize and meet people. So I don't think it has anything to do with business, anything to do with money, anything like that. I think it's just your ability to do what God has put on your heart, and I think that'll always change, like based on your ability. And I think like the only way for you to be unsuccessful is to just not take the opportunity and the calling that God's put on your heart, and do it. Like if you're at a 9 to 5 and God's calling you to take a risk and run a business to meet more people and to spread his word and you're not doing it, that makes you unsuccessful. I don't care how much money you're making. If you're not following the calling that God's given you, then that's unsuccessful. So to me, I've been successful ever since I moved out of the house and I was able to provide for myself and work my own businesses, no matter if I was making 30 grand a year or $250,000 a year. Like that, it doesn't matter to me. It's just being able to do whatever I want, and that's whatever God calls me to do.
By the way, I love that answer. When I was teaching behavioral middle school kids, we were in like the coding class, video editing, music studio. I was
Mhm.
making about 30K a year, 28K a year. And I felt the most successful impacting those kids. Like, and
Totally.
still to this day. Now I'm a coach, consultant, all that stuff, right? And it's the same thing. I don't change doing what I'm doing. There was nothing. All right, dude, I love that answer. That's so true. And I've always heard it this way, but I almost like yours better. Success is the realization of a worthy idea and working towards that worthy idea. Like it's not the destination, but it's actually working towards it. And that's
Yeah.
what I can tell. I can tell you're a God-given gift. It's amazing. By the
Amen,
way,
man.
whenever you come, I should have my dreams keep me awake shirts and my I collect 100 save to invest because money gets tight for us entrepreneurs and it's a good
Yeah.
reminder. And when you wear these shirts, I guarantee someone's just gonna come out on the street and slam you $100. You watch it, it'll happen. By the way, it's happened. I used to do this in Connecticut. I grew all
Yeah.
these other brands, signed these 50K clients, stopped growing my own. I'm bringing back what started it back. We're gonna start up our YouTube channel content, so it'll be
That's
good.
dope, man.
But man,
That's awesome.
hey, so Andrew, great time today. Great connecting with you. I look forward to doing more.
Absolutely.
Where can people find more of you?
Yeah, on Instagram, Andrewpreneurship. It's the
Right.
combination of my name and entrepreneurship. And on YouTube, how to use high level. I teach people how to use software and run businesses. And I'm starting to build that into more of a personal brand where I'm just sharing more about my life. But Instagram is the best place. And then LinkedIn is real Andrew George.
Gotcha. And by the way, if when you are back in Miami, let me know. I host right
Yeah.
here on this TV. We do a little workshop every month. Okay, it's on kind of what
Cool.
Andy does. I don't know if you know Andy does them in there. I do my
Yeah.
own version out here in Miami every month. So if it works, maybe we'll feature at one of these. All right, brother. I just
That's
love your
awesome,
heart,
man.
love everything about you, man. So glad we connected further. I was looking forward to this. So thank you, man. I'll see you soon.
Absolutely. You too, man. Have a good one.